Very early pick for him. They're actually
0 seconds, and Shen, with barely any time left over, Lehens will get his hands on the Shen.
A disagreement. Lehens' laning phase on the Morgana was pretty weak, even though he was 4-0 coming into that game. They'll give away Swain Morgana if Afrika won it on the red side, just to get Lehens the first pick. If you remember the series against KT, KT banned a lot of supports, and Lehens took a first pick Alistar just to get a comfort champion. That was a 2-0 loss, of course, for the side of Griffin. So while the Shen is a very powerful first pick, with Morgana, Swain, the pick of the jungle is available, not necessarily inspired by the last-second Shen for a first pick.
And you're giving over Swain and Kindred. Spirit looked quite good. I mean, he didn't have anyone to really jungle against in terms of a real jungler, so he should have, unless they want to go for the funnel once again here, Griffin, more of a adversary in the jungle. But the Braum here again, an exhaust for Tarzan again, and there it is as well. The Lucian gets locked in. I'm sure this is going to draw a lot of concerned faces from the side of Griffin and their fans, because they're going to try it again when it looks very weak in Game 1.
And I know a lot of people have this kind of breaking point about win, but going for this comp as a repeat, concerning for me is Keen is looking to go to an old favorite and set up some split push on the side of Afrika.
Okay, well, he is looking at another pick. We've seen a lot of mediocre Kleds here in the LCK, but looking to take that up on the top side here. Should be Keen. I suppose it could have been Swain up there, but will be Keen up on that Kled, so we'll see if he can do a bit better on that pick.
We did see a top lane Kled struggle against a Mundo a couple of days ago, but this is, of course, the old time that we used to see Kled come out as a fighter that could beat some of the tanks with all of his shred on the W. Interesting pick. It gives them more engage, and that is always something pretty welcome for team comps. The Swain will be so happy they can waddle into the middle of a fight and find a bit more. Griffin, they're trying something here. I think with the Morgana and the Shen bot lane, they should be able to push super hard against Aiming and Tucson, and it also means they will have an AP Black Shield, not just a support Black Shield, so it should be more durability for Viper. It's small tweaks. I'm just not a fan of the Cho'Gath in this comp, because with very unreliable engage, if you fall behind, it feels like you just get run over.
It is going to be hard to access many members on that side. The Zoe can be
to Afrika if we don't see Griffin pick up the pace soon.
See Spirit and Kuro coming down here into the bottom lane. They want to set up this 4v2. Tucson waiting on it, is tanking that turret, but Lehens with the dodge circle buying so much time. The TP comes in, but it is not enough. They take out the Shen. They take out rather two, and that is going to be 2-0 already to Afrika.
Usually impossible to turret dive, but they pull it off. They have the stopwatch there to mean the Alistar doesn't go down. However, mid lane turret may just go down for this. 2 kills for a turret, usually you'll take the kills. But Viper and Tarzan do spare the blushes a little bit when it comes to first break.
Yeah, they're at least able to get that. The TP was coming in from Sword, probably got interrupted or just decided, hey, they're dead, I'll just cancel it. As there's no point for him to go in there. So let's take a look at the replay and how this went down.
It was really well coordinated by Afrika. They have all their members bot lane. They're now spotted, so they knew it was a gank, but Black Shield is on cooldown very early. Tucson misses his stuff, but it doesn't matter because Spirit is a damage jungler. Kindred is so different against these funnel comps and the tank junglers who look frustrated in the first weeks of the season. They pull out the damage, they turret dive. It ends up being a turret and 2 kills for the first brick in mid lane. Lucian may be getting his item time.
Will definitely open up his build. Speaking of opening up, actually Aiming trying to go 1v2 again. He's feeling it tonight, especially after the way the early game went in game number 1. Speaking of which, Sword might be feeling it here. 3-on-1. He is the Cho'Gath and he is super tanky. But here's Shen, who may have just stood united into his death. They're thinking about a turret dive here, but the rest of Griffin is rolling in. Keen going way too deep in here. The taunt is going to land. Lamb's Respite, though, is perfect there from Spirit. They knock him out, and Tucson gets the follow-up engage. It is perfect, and the double kill over to the side of the Zoe. Afrika looked like they went too deep. They were just baiting Griffin into it.
There were so many layers of mistake to start this first from Afrika, but the turnaround by the end, the ending by Tucson was so smart, headbutting the Braum out of the Lamb's Respite so they got the first kill, and then having the turnaround onto the rest of the members. calamity of errors to start the action, but you have to say when the action was thick and fast, Afrika Freaks was better.
Unbelievable, just trying to make it work. You mentioned the mistakes that started the play.
Sword just walks up to no vision and is surprised to find 3 people. A solo mistake from Sword, should not do this. From there, nice interruption by aiming. So a mistake in terms of the teleport by Rather. And then they go for the turret dive, and this is too aggressive. This is very risky, given that Griffin can react. But the turnaround here, first on the flash Lamb's Respite from Spirit, beautifully done. And then also headbutting out Tarzan, getting the first kill. This is really well done by Tucson to mop up a calamity of errors on both sides.
Tucson and Spirit going hand in hand, holding hands and Speaking of Spirit, running forward, looking for Viper here.
We're rolling.
Led charge coming into the back line. There's the engage from Tucson. He's going to knock 2 of them off, and they get the Lucian. And that means the Braum will go down 2. And Sword with nowhere to go is just going to awkwardly feast Kuro. And that's 3 more kills to Afrika.
And that's what the charge can do. There's no way to get the Lucian out, even with the utility standing next to him. You can be decisive. You can snowball a lead. And they want a Baron.
Should be just about as free as you'd like it at this point. The Morgana and the Shen can do absolutely nothing. And a couple of mistakes and fantastic plays out of Afrika to pull it back here means that still no kills for Griffin. And they might be looking down the barrel of another 0-2 against a strong team.
I don't know if I can ever remember a series, even a 2-0 series, where the enemy team didn't get a single kill in a loss, Valdez, but we're definitely setting up for one like that. Best thing about the charge is that even my boy Tucson can get in there quickly. He doesn't need Ghost. He's got the assist from the Kled. They dive in. They get all the kills. Sword thinks he's teleporting in as a tank. Nope. It's just making a donation to the enemy team. Everyone, gap closes. Great collapse. And how about a second Inferno for Afrika Freaks?
You can tell that Afrika is really feeling it, even just the little things, right?
Even worse than that scoreline.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we shouldn't call stuff too early, but it's definitely not the way you want to start this round. But speaking of which, trying to charge on the backline, he lands straight onto Viper, says, hello, I'm playing Kled this time around. Nice engaged follow-up from Tucson. Not able to get any kills just yet. The Sword is going to get low before he can even get it in there. The tethers here from Rather are going to stun 3 people, and they do get the Alistair down here. Tarzan still alive, as is Viper, and Afrika just going to back off and take the inhibitor.
First kill of the series comes 24 minutes into game number 2 from the side of Griffin. If you bet on that one, you're making a lot of money today, that's for sure. You see Afrika Freaks back away. They still were able to take down the primary objective in taking that bot lane inhibitor. Watch the replay here. They roll in, and there's not enough gold onto either Viper or the members of Griffin. Very, very easy for them. Take the turret, and then when they start focusing on members, that's going to go well for Afrika as well.
Bit of a sloppy fight overall. A lot of different damage going in many different directions towards the Cho'Gath, Tarzan surviving forever, Viper having enough of a front line, some members of Afrika not fully committing, going for the inhibitors, stuff like that. But as you mentioned, I mean, Afrika just way too...
It's not the time for hard judgments for or against Griffin. They played funnel twice against Afrika. I think that was the poor decision. But everything else is still up in the air. The future is still ready to be written as... Whoa! He died to the W!
That might have been the first time it looked that awkward and obvious. We definitely have people die to W before, but it was the Zoe Paddlestar into him walking on the trouble bubble, which makes him stand still, funnily enough.
Tucson.
Nice follow-up engage here as the rest of Griffin, Viper in the background, just trying to culling and get a high damage number, because that's all he is going to get in both of these games. Trying to take out aiming now, but gets hit by that trouble bubble. They still have Lamb's Respite, by the way, just in case. Here comes the follow-up from Lahenge. Gets a nice taunt. Tarzan going to get low, though, on the back line. Keen able to do it. Spirit 2 is very fed. And Sleep comes in on the Viper. He still wants to get a kill, but he will be denied. Only 2 kills in the whole series for Griffin, and a very clean 2-0 from Afrika.
Fantastic series from the Afrika Freaks. Multiple members playing great. Their macro was immaculate. Apart from one Baron steal, they did the right thing in basically every scenario. And you could also see in game number 2, Keen steamrolled Sword in the top lane. Sword has been someone who's looked good this season, but also is probably the weakest link when it comes to individual play. I think the Cho'Gath draft didn't do him any favors either. Keen was able to run over him. We've seen Keen denied target banned, forced onto Mundo, and other picks where he doesn't have lane supremacy. When he has the lane supremacy, Keen has delivered 9 times out of 10.
That he has, that young player up in the top side for Afrika is not going to disappoint us tonight, but disappointing looks on the faces of Griffin. Across the board, the draft, the play was okay. You know, it's kind of just the position they found themselves in, and it definitely felt like Afrika was in